Today I was going to go for a run, but I didn't. Today I was going to tidy the garage up, but I didn't. And I get quite a few days like that where I didn't, and I find it quite frustrating. And it's a little bit more than just simply procrastinating. It's a case of being overwhelmed by the volume of what I didn't do. And sometimes I have to really kick myself up the backside to get motivated, because otherwise I'm going to have way too many days where I didn't. But today I found a way to do something that I really wanted to do, that I really like doing. And I got out, I came for my walk. Very lucky that I live in part of the country where within 2 minutes of my house I can just walk pretty much uninterrupted. Which leads me to another thing. One of the things that I found with ADHD is loneliness. But I don't feel lonely. I think I've built myself into a life where I prefer solitude. I take a lot more comfort in the noise of the world around me. And I quite like that, because it makes me feel more independent, less vulnerable, less likely to feel way too different for the average person to understand what I'm saying. And by average, you know what I'm referring to is people that are neurotypical. Some people actually say to you, yeah, we're all a little bit ADHD, we're all a little bit autistic, but I don't see that. You know, how can that be? Have these people that say that to me, have they had a massive turnover of jobs? Have they had relationships and friendships that just go pop, just like that? You know, you're right in the middle of something and all of a sudden it's like there's a cold tap being poured over you. And it's horrible, because then you go straight into guilt mode. And I absolutely feel guilty about near enough everything that I've ever done. And that's a hell of a burden to carry. And within that burden and that guilt, there's the absorption of all of the confidence, everything. You know, it sucks the life out of you, because then you stop enjoying the benefits of solitude. There's a couple of swans over here, don't there? You stop enjoying the comfort of solitude and you become tremendously isolated, and you start becoming lonely. But I always used to say with loneliness, I could feel so lonely in a pub, in a club, in a restaurant, in a crowded area. I could feel more lonely there than I do on my own. And that is really kind of strange, isn't it? You know, how can you feel lonely in a crowded environment? It just doesn't make any sense, does it? And yet I did. I really, really did. And these days I tend not to socialise as much as I used to. I tend not to go out as much as I used to. My circle of friends is much smaller. I'm not necessarily any better at keeping in touch with fewer friends, but I appreciate the value of fewer friends maybe a lot more than I ever used to. I find that very odd, you know, and in this era where we live with so much pressure for social media to have so many friends, be seen to be doing all these wonderful things. But I think I alluded to this before. I can get in this habit of really buying loads of things, of experiencing loads of things, but really not enjoying any of those things. And the simplest things are things like this. I think there's some geese behind me making a terrible racket, but the peace and quiet and the tranquility out here is absolutely amazing. You know, and it's one of the things that I really struggle with. I have this noise sensitivity issue. And noise sensitivity absolutely rinses me. And when I come out here, if I'm very quiet and very still, I can maybe hear possibly half a dozen different birds, different animals. I can hear the slight breeze as it rustles through the reeds. Occasionally, behind me, I'll hear a train going past. And as daft as it sounds, I take great pleasure in counting the amount of carriages on these freight trains. Now, I wonder, this is sort of this technical, obsessive side of me, the nerdy side, and I wonder how those trains manage to pull those freight cars, because sometimes they can have 40 or 50 cars behind them. Ah, weird, isn't it? I bet most people, neurotypical people, wouldn't think like that. Anyway, I've been rambling on a little bit. I've taken a bit of your time. I'm still feeling my way in. I've got a slightly different setup today. Mike is fed directly into the DJI apparatus that I'm using. I'm just seeing where it's going to go. But I'm starting to feel a little bit more comfortable in front of the camera. I haven't done many videos. I've got quite a few plans, and I hope those plans start coming together over the next weeks and months. It's not a project that I'm aiming to complete in a few months. This is kind of like a diary of my journey, because I'm still waiting for the confirmation report about the autism. That's weighing a bit heavy on my mind. I'm still learning my way into things. Today I was planning on doing a course, an online course, but I feel a little bit overwhelmed with everything at the moment. And you know, a very kind person in my life has pointed out, you know, just slow down a little bit, just concentrate on the things that you like. So that's why I brought you out here today, because I do like this. Anyway, if you like what you've heard, please like and subscribe, and hopefully you'll join me next time. Thank you very much for watching. Bye bye.